carts, are you a guy that looks for value when you go to the grocery store when you're getting maple syrup and apples and such?
Well, I used to spend my Sundays clipping coupons, but now I don't have to. I just go to Cub. Yeah, why?
Well, if you were looking in the Cub Circular, 2 for $7, Old Dutch. Some of those come in a big box, like a cardboard box. You can use the box for stuffed afterwards. $9.99 a pound for Red Lake walleye fillets.
Ooh.
Maybe some English muffin bread. Treat yourself with class. Talk with an accent on your commute into the office. $2.99 for Baking Master English muffin bread. Ooh, sorry, I saw Top of the Tater, 2 for $5. Top the Tater. I always add the oven there. There's just Top the Tater. And also, if you wanted some wheat thins, maybe some Oreos, we're going to go with $5.49. That's how you shop happy. That's how you shop happy at Cub.
Dude, you can't go wrong with a good hot dog, burger, some potato chips, Old Dutch Ruffle or something like that. Like
something about that cardboard box on the Old Dutch, too. It just makes you feel safe.
And then Top the Tater.
Yeah, dipping it into top.
The number one dip.
I'm starting to smell the changing of the seasons just listening to you.
I love it. John.
Yes.
I know it's short season. You got him on. Short season means golf season too, but not this year, not now, not till late summer. The PGA Tour Kinger is back in Minnesota, but not until July 23rd through the 26th. Our friends at TPC Twin Cities in Blaine have the 3M Open, my man. New sponsor to the pod.
New sponsor.
They understand that it's hockey season. And then after that is golf season.
You were just doing it.
They're being respectful of us right now. Last year, that tournament saw some of the best golfers in the world compete. Cam Young, Max Homa, Sam Burns, Wyndham Clark, our boy Ricky Fowler in the orange. Love that guy. This year's lineup will start to be announced soon. Expecting some big names there too, including you and me, Kinger. We're going to sneak out there, celebrate what could be a tremendous spring on the links, wild on 7th, maybe on the 7th hole, doesn't matter. We're going to party, but golf season is coming, but not until late July.
Yeah, we got this scheduled out. There's plenty of room for the playoffs before the 3M Open, and maybe it's wild on the 7th. That could be a good thing. So
tickets are available, though. If you want to plan ahead, buy your tickets.
Where?
You can get them, 3mopen.com.
Okay, I'll check that out. As always, our guests are sponsored by Duke Cannon. Today we got Gorgie and Radio Joe, and they're here to remind you to earn your clean. Head over to a Target, get some body wash, some shampoos, all the hair products. Make your hair a weapon. Go to dukecannon.com.
This is Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast. Did you guys see this? This is unbelievable. What is that all about, Kinger?
Get in here for the real thing. Like, let's get weird.
Maybe I blacked out trying to figure out what was going on.
Doubt, worry, fear, because that's what we're breaking the mold on here.
Welcome to Wild on 7th, presented by Pilot Games. We're here until it's here.
I'm going to be late to the plane, so that I'm not happy about.
He has bag separation
I wanted
anxiety.
to get Spurgeon and Faber and Boldy done on the front end, so I got here a little before 9. Spurgeon came right away. Meetings aren't until 9:45. I'm like, come on, Sicky. So now after practice.
Hideo no-show?
Well, we're gonna tape it after practice. So now I'm gonna be late to the bird. 1:30 flight. I want to be there by 12:30. There's no chance I'll be there.
You like to? You're not gonna be able to witness feast mode.
Kevin Gorg is a psychopath.
I get places early. Places early. This dummy.
He's nervous Nelly.
Is never on.
Are you
time.
recording?
Never on time.
Yeah, we got
it's worse than LaPanta.
Nervous.
This is gonna be the soft open.
Number one, false.
Never on time.
Who?
Fine.
Make plans with this guy. He's in the elevator on his phone. I mean, I can show you the receipts if you want. Dylan was rattled.
Does he say sorry, too, when he gets there and you know he's not actually sorry? Because he's
word.
late
Not really.
all the time.
Him and LaPanta are play-by-play guys. They don't apologize
Oh,
for any of their behavior.
false.
Can we talk about your cell phone for a second, though, Gorgie?
Mine? Well, I don't.
Like, speaking of sources of anxiety, what's the lowest you think the battery's ever been on his?
Watch this. Watch him freak out. Look at mine.
Oh, God. In this day and age,
I'm at 26%.
how can
He's
anyone let
freaked.
their phone get below 50%? Like
50? When
Why?
has your seen 80? When has your phone seen 80?
You're not looking right now. You're not looking right now.
96, I'm going to guess. Let's guess.
Let's take a look.
It's for sure.
96.
I bet it's 99.
92.
Whoa.
I've been here since
That's low.
8:45.
That's low.
That's
I'll
right.
bump it back up in the car. Don't. By the time I get on that plane, it'll be at 100.
It'll be a honeybee.
But why? Why would you let it get like? I don't understand. Like We got to go here.
All right, welcome back to Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast, presented by our friends at Pilot Games. Make sure when you're out, and it sounds like it's going to be an afternoon game on Saturday on the road. It might be a little chilly if I saw the forecast too. Great time to pop into a local establishment, grab a tablet, play some games, watch the Wild versus Dallas. You know, don't hit mute and listen to Radio Joe. Just listen to the audio of the TV program. But not only can you win, a little extra money would make the day, get your pizza and sodas paid for, but your community wins too. The money goes back to all the local athletes. Gorgie, that's what we call on the show
A win-win.
a win-win.
Gambling is good. That's the one thing I know for sure.
That's true.
You're good at it.
Sometimes. Depends on the day.
Like your left hip might develop a little arthritis here because you've got a little extra money from what I hear. The guys at K-Fan had to pay you.
Yeah, it was a good weekend with the Masters and Rory. And after winning the Players with Cam Young, I feel like I'm on a little bit of a heater. I would love some of that heat to leave me and stay with our hockey club.
Why don't you just stay with the hockey club and emanate heat?
All right, I'll do the best I can.
He's emanating heat right now, I can tell you
Yeah, I
that.
am. I'll bring that heat on to you any day you
no,
want.
this is a no-touching podcast.
Should we start with Gorgie? Let's start with predictions. What do you think this series is? Like,
gonna be
how does it end?
Right off the top, huh?
like,
Right off the hop, get right into it.
Should we not?
I feel like that
don't
was.
know if I'm ready
was-
for that.
That was aggressive.
Well,
John King's gonna be sweating over here if you make him give a prediction right now.
I just wanted to thank you all for wearing shorts today, like I suggested, because we're going to go on a run, and we're going to.
Well, if I had legs like that,
We're gonna play
I'd
into
wear
the-
shorts every day of the week. Look at those beautiful.
It's nice to know that I'm heard.
You notice though, like he asked us to wear shorts. We're working today, and he shows up with these beautiful manicured,
We're working today.
tanned legs. I mean, it's like this guy. What a picture!
I do need some lotion.
When you're at Canterbury Park, do you wear shorts?
No, we're working.
You don't ever wear shorts there.
Never.
Haven't you ever
So you
ridden
can't
horses
work in
before?
shorts.
They don't
Is that
let
what
you
you're
ride
telling me?
horses in shorts.
I mean, we're putting on a broadcast show. This isn't romper room time. I mean, we were out there.
Do you know that in Sports Center, back in the day, I don't even think they wore pants.
I'm out in the paddock with the horses
Below
as
the
they get
table,
saddled.
you
I'm not
can't see
behind
what's
a desk.
going on.
I'm out there with the people. I'm a man of the people at Canterbury. That's what I do.
Kinger, where'd you get your tan?
I was out in South Carolina for filming some golfers, and it's nice out there. The Low Country, getting close to your neck of the woods out east.
No, this is so Minnesotan. South Carolina and Philadelphia are nowhere near each other.
Plus, the people in South Carolina are
My
nice.
neck of the woods?
They're the opposite of people from Philly.
You don't have a boo button for that, Huss? You're just gonna let them get away with that?
You're out east.
I'll go first.
All right, prediction
Yeah.
time.
I think it's wild. I'm gonna go.
You're bullish, and I
Yeah.
don't understand this.
I love it.
You're
I actually think
over
it's-
the top bullish.
I really think it's probably Wild in 5, maybe 6.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Maybe 6.
I feel like up 6 because I don't want anybody to lose their mind.
Imagine this area, where I'm from, apparently,
Yeah.
right down the street.
Near,
Can you imagine Minnesota, larger Minnesota, the state of hockey, if the Wild win the series in 5 games?
We're
Might
Actually,
as well-
that's
you fire up the parade floats.
that's the bold prediction, but I think Wild in 6. I don't think it goes 7.
I do. I can't look at this series and not think every game is going to be either overtime or down to the wire. We just watched a game a couple weeks ago, and remember in that game, Heiskanen left halfway through. They didn't have 2 or 3 of their forwards up front, and Dallas still won that game. Minnesota was the better team that night, but look at the scoreboard. Dallas did win that hockey game. It feels like a series that's going the distance. I think it's going 7. I think they'll split in Dallas to start the series. I think they'll come back and split in Minnesota. I think Minnesota wins the series, but I think it's going to have to go the distance to get it done.
I think sometimes hockey, especially this time of year, there are anomalies, and nobody wants to bet them. Who thinks that?
Everybody thinks every series is going 6.
And who thinks
Unless
Columbus
it's
is going to beat the Lightning? Who thinks that?
Remember, they swept them.
Who thinks that Boston, who set the best record of all time for a regular season, loses in the first round? Nobody does, but it happens. Everybody's saying that this series is going to be so close, so close, so close. I don't see it. I see the Wild as the better team, and I think if we'll get into it on why people think Dallas might be better, where their advantages are, and I just don't think that that's the case. But so I think that the Wild learned what they needed to in the game a week ago Thursday, that they were the better team. I think that they're the hungrier team. They have a chip on their shoulder, and I think that makes a big difference in the first round of the playoffs. Right now, Dallas is sitting there saying, like, we have experience. We've been to the West Final. Everybody's like, experience is good. We know what we're doing. The Wild are like chomping at the bit. They're drooling like, get me a playoff game. And that matters in my opinion. So I'm betting that the games might be close, but I don't think the series will.
Who starts in goal in game 1 for Minnesota? We have no idea. We've all been waiting to hear. I don't think we're going to find out today. We'll likely find out tomorrow or Saturday morning. Carts, who starts in goal?
All right. Well, I'll get to that, but I want to ask, like, where do you guys think Dallas has the clear advantage in this series? If you think that it's going 7, they must have a strength somewhere.
I think their power play is super, super dangerous, and I think Minnesota has to find a way to limit the damage they can do in that situation.
I have so many thoughts, I don't know where to begin.
Sorry.
And like I have a smirk the whole time you're talking, and
I hope he's right.
And exactly, that's why I'm like I got legitimately amped up while you were like breaking it down there for a minute, Carts. And so I've gone back and forth a lot on this. All right, let's start with Dallas. I think Mikko Rantanen and his ability to take over a hockey game is a huge advantage for the Stars. I think Wyatt Johnston's clutch gene, if you will, is a huge advantage for the Stars. Maybe not huge, but that's something in their favor. Their experience, having gone to the Western Conference Final 3 straight years, has to be looked at as a strength or a possible advantage.
Let me just cut it in right there.
Yep.
Because people talk about Florida right now and say they're tired. They've been to the final 3 straight years. How come all of a sudden on one hand we say a team's tired because they've been to the final for 3 straight years? Then on the other hand we say this team is really good and hungry because they've been to the West Final 3 straight years. My point is, I think that they've had their luck. They've had their bounces. Like, they've had their time. And eventually, like, it's not going to go their way. And that's one of the bets I'm making right now is like, hey, you might have a darn good team, but it is hard to be good.
You go to the 3rd round 4 straight years.
Yeah. Like, it's hard to do. So
or the 2nd round 4 straight years.
And I'm not trying to discount what you're saying. I'm just taking a bet on the other side of that, saying like, hey, probabilities are a club's they're not gonna have it for 4 straight years. So there's that one. You make a couple other good points. Rantanen, great player. I think he's a playoff guy too. Like, big body, skilled. Like, I don't think his heart rate fluctuates, you know. Johnston, clutch, good power play in the middle, learn from Pavelski. So I think like he's kind of got that dialed. I think offensively, those guys are good. I don't know that they frighten me. You know, like, you think if you put those guys on paper, if you have, let's say you're GM, let's say you have Johnson, Rantanen, and Robertson. Are you taking them? That's your trio. Or are you taking Boldy, Eriksson, at Kaprizov?
Well, I'm just going to answer it with this. It's not clear cut either way, right? Like, I don't know. It's going to depend on your GM and what they're looking for, whatever. Like, I'm biased, obviously. So
I think yeah.
But so my point is, like, to your point, it's narrow, that margin, right? And actually, I wrote about this for the little game day program that comes out for the home games. Is like, to me, I'm gonna be looking at the point producers. All right, so I laid out Kaprizov, Boldy, Zuccarello, and Hughes against, Rantanen, Johnston, Robertson, and Heiskanen. I didn't put Hintz in there because he's hurt, and we're assuming, Heiskanen plays at some point in the series. So to me, it's like, which of those 4, those quads, if you will, like, who's going to outproduce the other team? And that's not ultimately going to determine who wins the series. But if your star players aren't your star players, like, now you're relying on depth guys to score a bunch of goals, and I just don't think that's sustainable in the playoffs. So those 4 against the Wild's 4, like, who's going to have more points? That's something I'll be looking for.
John, what do you think?
I actually did all the work. I'm going to tell you why.
It looks like Goodwill Hunting right there.
So the Wild win in 5. Okay, and here's why. On paper, this is a Gemini's twin. These are identical teams. They don't have centers, right? We got third best power play, second best, 16 on the PK, 12 on the PK. It's almost identical. Heiskanen, Hughes, the 240 goal guys on both sides.
Yeah.
I think we win because our 2 stars are better than their 2 stars. I just believe that hard skill. Boldy and Kirill play harder than Robertson and Johnston. I do like Johnston more than Robertson, but I got that. I got our defense will score more. Everyone forgets about Faber. I know in Minnesota we don't, but just nationally, the guy gets forgotten. They got 127 points between the 2 of them. You add up Heiskanen and Harley, it's 99. That's a big difference. We also have guys that can score goals, not just depth points, right? So you start looking at Tarasenko, 23, Hartman, 23. They don't have that. When you get into Duchesne, Hintz has been hurt. Bork has 20 goals, but most of them are a lot lower than that. We're meaner than them. Look at penalty minutes between McCarron, Jake, Moose, Nick, Hartsey. We got better dark alley stuff, and also their coach. I don't know who this guy is. I see him with the red hair. It's like Inspector Clouseau or something. I don't even know his name. So like that's not helpful. That's not Pete DeBoer. Like I don't know. Like that's just If I don't even know his name, I think that's a good sign.
Do you want his name?
I don't. Okay. I would like to not know. He's a ginger and he slicks it back. That's all I know. I got Wild in
Keeps it tight though.
5.
You got Wild in 5. So you guys are bookending that prediction. Joe, I think it goes 7. It feels like you do too.
Yeah, I can't. Look, I always pick 6 to Cart's point in most series. It's this team at 6. It's this team at 6.
It's the better team in 6. Yeah.
I'll just go 7 as well. I don't know that either team, if some team would, so obviously you guys believe somebody's going to win back-to-back games in the series. Mm-hmm. I don't know that Kevin and I necessarily believe that. And if somebody does win back-to-back games in the series, I think they're going to win the series.
Me too.
I think it's that close. So one thing I will say, Dallas does not start series well historically, this core group for them. Last few years, they've really struggled in game 1s for whatever reason. You look at the Wild and Stars in 23 when Hartman had the double overtime winner in game 1. So, and they have, they played last night. They played most of their regulars. They're only going to have 1 practice day. There are some things that set up well for the Wild to start this series on time. I like the way the coaching staff approached it. It's a different style, right? It's the Wild went rest, prioritizing health and rest, and the Stars have prioritized guys playing together. Because they've had some injuries, they played last night with basically their game 1 lineup.
Yeah, that was interesting. The West and the Central has done that. I mean, Colorado, McKinnon, Natchez, they had all the big guys going in all their games.
Yeah.
So those guys, and they had the President's Trophy locked up weeks ago.
Yeah,
no doubt.
So we as broadcasters talked to John Hines about it the other day before Game 82, and I kind of asked him like, he has no doubt that his team will start on time. I'm looking right at the camera for this. No doubt. Like, they love the plan they have in place. They don't doubt it at all. They are dialed in. Stare right at that camera.
Which one?
Right there, that one here? Or that one over here?
Both of them.
And you got Tickles over here on the floor. I'm like, what's he doing here? Yeah, there he goes. He's everywhere.
He's got a RoboCam.
I think the day game, if it plays out that way in game 1, definitely helps Minnesota. We just mentioned they played their guys. Had to travel back from Buffalo late last night, day off today, practice tomorrow. I like what John Hines did, and I can't remember the last time the Wild went into a playoff series with all of their big guys healthy.
Yes.
I mean, this is something we have not seen in years.
Eriksson and Kaprizov were out until game 79, 80. Like, they have now not only played basically a full season, but they've been able to get the proper rest they've needed. And, okay, end of March, the Wild they were struggling a little bit. They had the 2 days away from the rink, no team activities. Then they had 2 practice days. They came out and won like 4 straight, right? And then you look at the end of this year. They're giving the guys games off. And so you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of time. Carts. Like, if you don't skate for 4 or 5 days, it's crazy, right? It just doesn't happen during the season. If you don't play a game for a week, your body's probably all out of whack. But the Wild, skated with Andy Ness, the guys that didn't play in the game 81 and 82. It's not like they were just had their feet up in Cancun. They were getting strength training, conditioning, cardio, puck touches. Like, when I heard John Hines kind of lay out what they did for the guys that didn't play the last couple games, I was sold on their approach. And we'll see if it works. Again, Dallas went a different way with it. We'll see if it benefits either team. But that is one thing I have, again, confident. I'm back and forth on this series because I think each team has some advantages, but the way the Wild are going into this with the rest and guys being healthy, I really, really like.
Gorgie, goaltending, elephant in the room. As a resident.
Big one.
Yeah. Who do I start game one? Tough one.
I didn't ask you that because I don't think
You did it early on.
I want you to tell us who you think is in that net when that puck drops. I'd like to know what your assessment is of the direction they're going to go.
Yeah, I
It's
don't.
a tough one.
I don't know.
Well, if you think this series is going to be over maybe in 5 carts, then you got to assume whoever goes is going to play well, right? Like you don't see a series where Gus wins 2, Wally wins 4, over the course of the first
goaltending
couple,
might be my Achilles
Like,
heel here.
Like early in the playoffs, you're not seeing say the Wild are in the second round. Does each guy have 3 wins? Do they have?
I think it's possible. Absolutely. If
Right.
you look at the body of work this year, Wally, comes in as a rookie, has that great training camp, has that great run, then tapers off a little bit, then gets hot again at the end. They've both played significant minutes and big games. So if this team's going to go on a run, they're both going to play. And I think they're both going to play in this series, especially if it does go 7, like you and I believe. It's a fascinating decision for game 1 because if you go back 2 years to the last time these guys played in the playoffs, Gus Bus was unbelievably good in that double overtime win. Dallas was clearly the better team that night. Outplayed Minnesota significantly in that hockey game. Without Gustafsson in that game, they don't get to double overtime. He went toe-to-toe with Ottinger and was the better goalie. You look at his body of work, big games, 4 Nations, the Olympics, it's there. But we're talking 2 weeks now, he has not been at his very best for whatever reason. And you look at Wally, he's no longer a rookie. He's got a year of hockey under his belt. He is an NHL goalie. And I look at where they picked him. They moved up to pick him. I look at his ceiling as being awfully high. So game 1, do you want the experience? Do you want the guy that's red hot down the stretch? And I know from being on social media and being a victim and a prisoner of the moment, if you ask Wild fans right now, last I saw, 85% on most of the Twitter polls think it should be the kid, think it should be Wally. I don't think it's that easy.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Did he pull the prank on Wallstead with the name on the back?
We believe so. We have not verified.
So if he did that, I'm starting Gus all day because if he's doing that when the whole internet is saying stuff about him,
Yes.
the guy's laid back. Gus is not a normal goalie. Gus has been on the podcast more than once. I think Wally's an assassin. He's driven by, he's in a hurry to be great. He anything. I bet this guy thinks anything's a slight, right? I like him waiting in the wings. I like Gus as part of this core and a little bit more of a veteran. And you can always pull Wally and just have him come out with a submachine gun and take care of the rest if that's what needs to be. I would start Gus game 1. I just think he's been good all year. Who cares? He had some bad games and some absolutely insane lineups. I don't know. I just think it's Gus to start.
I think that's where, and you make a good point. If the Wild win this in 5, there's likely only one goaltender playing.
Probably.
You did say 6, I believe you hedged. Are you all signed up for 5 or 6? I'm 5 because I'm
You
bold.
are bold. I'm 5.
I'm known as Mr. Bold. What are you? I thought I heard you walk it back to 6.
I'm right in that range. I'm 5.5.
5.5. Oh, yeah, I only won a series
So
of
we get to the
5.5.
second intermission of game 6 and they just call it.
Are you riding with me? Are we gonna? Because if
You got to ride with him, man. You got to go 5.
Yeah. I mean, I was the first one to say it, so I'll stick with it. 5.
Right, okay, good. Keep going. Sorry.
So here's where I'm at with that, and what I think goes through a coach's head. You have a room, right, and there is some level of like weight that goes to body of work. You can't just, and there's challenge here too, because you have Bill Guerin, who's been on the podcast, and we've talked to him, and he says, I think it's Glenn Sather's quote. Is that who it is? If you want Wayne Gretzky's job,
Go take it.
yeah, I'll give it to you. Just go take it, or vice versa. Something to that effect. And Bill Guerin's been that way. Like, you look at Brock Faber, he came in and he earned more minutes, and Jared Spurgeon's minutes went down. And Billy had to encourage him to do that. Now he's in one of those spots, and I think that they're in one of these spots at a very critical time where it is possible that that young goaltender has for the last week or two outplayed Gus. But then you have to say, all right, well, look at the room. Body of work needs to count for something. And Gus has been the guy. He got the deal. Yeah, I think you have to give him a chance, you know? And that's what ultimately I think what happens. I think they give Gus a chance, because if they don't, I think there might be other ramifications kind of in that room. Now, I do think that this is a group that's motivated to win. And I think it's a group that's probably willing to understand, it's mature, that if there's a tough choice that has to be made, that they'll live with that in order to win. If the decision helps them win games, win series, win a Stanley Cup. And what I'm talking about is, I think it's Gus's net to start. And if the tough choice is, hey, even if you win game 1 and 2, you know, it doesn't look good, go to Wally 2. And then Wally gets his chance. Like, you got to give Gus his chance first. That's what I think. Then I think Gus could get hot and go. Now, the other argument I'll make here on why I think the Wild could win this in 5 is, and everybody steered clear of it, but a lot of people think Dallas has the clear-cut advantages in the cage. I don't think that that's the case. I like Ottinger, local kid, great goaltender. I don't think he's from the ilk of Shesterkin, Sorokin, Hellebuck yet, right? Like, he's not there. I don't think he's proven that. You look at the body language, and just got done talking about this, of guys like Martin Brodeur, Marc-Andre Fleury. You know, they're not perfect every night, but you can see the nights where they're like, I've got to be good tonight. And they carry themselves different. Their demeanor's locked in. Like, you know, they're taking a game. Those guys have done that. I don't know that I've seen, and I haven't looked like that close every game Dallas has played, but I don't know that he's done it yet. I don't know that he's there. They came to town too. This is the other point I'll make. Dallas came to town. Ottinger had won like 13 straight. This was like, what, a month ago, Joe?
Yeah, it was March.
They had won 12 of 13.
21st.
Or he hadn't lost a game in regulation in that stretch. You know what his save percentage was in those 13 wins? It was like 890 something.
Really?
Yes. 13 wins, 890. So it's not like goaltender was stealing the series or stealing these games. There were a couple in that stretch where he played really good and probably bought his team a win or two. But over the series, I just don't think that they have that much of an advantage over Gus and Wally. The numbers are the same. His career numbers are close. He's a good goaltender, yes, but he's not head and shoulders above what the Wild are putting in the cage.
I just want to jump in real quick, because I agree with a lot of that, Carts. And his numbers this year, it's the first year Jake Ottinger's had a save percentage under 90% in his career, okay? But across the league, save percentage numbers are down. The Wild, one of 2 teams, I think, in the entire league that had a team save percentage above 90. So there's that to consider. And on top of that, Dallas doesn't give up much, okay? They don't, like, you know, they give up to like 23, 25 shots a game. If Ottinger was facing 35 and he stops 33 or 32, now if he stops 23 of 25, his numbers take a hit. So his save percentage, right? His goals against is pretty normal for his career. It's his save percentage that's down this year, but again, it's down across the league, and I think in part it's down because Dallas doesn't give up squat. They don't get a lot of shots. They don't give up a lot of shots. They're a very low event team, especially in the first period.
Joe, they're absolutely. So Ottinger's seen 25 shots a game through the season. Gus has seen almost 28, and Wally's at 29. That's a big delta. That's like 20%.
The whole league
less
is
shots.
separated by, like, you know, the Wild, I think, gave up 29.6 shots a game, and it was like bottom third of the league. The team that's given up the fewest has only given up like 3 or 4 less shots, right? It's not a huge gap when you look at 32 teams, and most of the stats across the league are never going to be that wide, right? Carolina might be an anomaly with how many shots they fire per game, but as far as shots against go, you know, you're looking at 24 to maybe 30 across the entire league for 32 teams. So there's not a huge gap, but over 82 games, you know, you're going to see way less rubber if the team you're playing behind is only giving up 24 a night as opposed to 29 a night. So I just think the big thing for Ottinger, and I'll just wrap this point up, is the timely saves. And it's not just for Ottinger. It's in this series to me. Who makes the timely saves? Okay, like we know Dallas, the Wild outshot the Stars by 30 shots, give or take, over the 4-game season series in the regular season combined. Like, They outshot them every game. The difference was, or the difference could be, who's going to get the timely saves at the timely times. You look the other night, and Mike Heika from DallasStars.com, their senior staff writer, brought this up to me when I talked to him the other day. You look at the game just a week ago, 10 days ago. The Wild led after 40 minutes. Ottinger wasn't spectacular by any means, but in the third period, the Wild couldn't beat them. I'm not saying they had grade A after grade A, but Dallas got the clutch goals. The Wild couldn't beat Ottinger when it mattered the most, and Dallas won the hockey game. And that's kind of been Ottinger and Dallas's MO. Again, they don't give up a lot. They have a great shooting percentage. I think first or second in the league with Montreal there. I haven't looked in the last couple of days, but they make the most of their opportunities. So it's going to be timely saves from Gus or Wally. And then when it's in that big moment, 3-3 in the third period of game 2, and the Wild have a 2-on-1 or a power play, do they bury it, or does Ottinger come up big? That'll be something I'll be watching all series long.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I think the kid is as gifted as any goalie in the league. He's big. He's athletic. Of course, he loves playing against his hometown team.
Yeah.
There's no question that
Juice has got to run out, too. That's kind of my point. They can't win them all, man.
Well, I listen.
We've only beat them once, I think.
Yeah.
A 2-1 game, at least in regulation.
Yeah, regulation, I think, is one loss against the Wild in the regular season.
It's going to be, to me, that matchup is going to tip the scale so significantly. Yeah, it's just, it's not, we're not breaking any news here, but that is the big question mark coming in on the Minnesota side. That is the constant on the Dallas side. I do think that the injury to Roope Hintz is significant. He's a wild killer.
I
he
get
plays
that,
with
Gorg,
speed.
but he hasn't played in weeks, and they haven't barely missed a beat. They went through they went through a bit of a rough patch where the Wild rallied and got so close to second place. And since then, Dallas has been who Dallas has been, and it's been without Hintz, except for one game post-Olympics. We're not talking about a 2-week span.
But I want to tell you right now that the Wild team you're going to see, in my eyes, on Saturday, the team that's going to win this series likely in 7, is going to look a whole lot different. I look at a guy like Quinn Hughes, who is such a needle mover. And as you get to know this guy, I don't think these last 4, 5, 6 weeks, I don't think, in listening to him, I don't think it mattered to him.
Yeah.
I think he's out there kind of doing his thing. He'll always be an impactful player. You look at the big games this guy plays in, and this guy has playoff winning experience from Vancouver. But I look at what I watched during the Olympics. That Quinn Hughes, to me,
Difference maker.
can change this series, because as good as Heiskanen is, and Heiskanen is a damn good defenseman, he is clearly not going to be 100%. Sounds like he's going to play in game 1, and that's fine. But the Quinn Hughes you're going to see is a different Quinn Hughes. And so, to me, that does give Minnesota a slight edge.
If you had to scale Quinn Hughes to, say, Jonas Brodin, I put Heiskanen closer to Jonas Brodin.
Yeah.
Just because of the smooth skating, shutdown, 200-foot. He's got more offense than Brodin by a large share, but he doesn't have Quinn Hughes-type offense. Heiskanen. No. So, I think, to your point, I'm ready for Hughes to be a man on a mission and to show why he's a big game player in this series, and he could be an X factor, a difference maker. You pick your cliche. I expect Hughes to step up big time.
Did we ever find out why they were hugging each other, him and Rantanen, on the ice after that? Like, Rantanen almost put him off the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
And then they were getting up, and they were, I don't know what.
That's when Rantanen got lucky. He could have been suspended. He tried to take the. Remember, he stuck the leg out on Kirill?
He is. He's a great player, but he's a cheap shot guy.
Another thing we should bring up in this series is, like, we've talked a lot about discipline. You want to stay out of the box. Can the Wild get guys like Rantanen? You know, if he flips that switch and takes a dumb penalty, or we saw Marcus Foligno get a game misconduct when these two teams played in 2023 at the start of Game 5, like maybe Rantanen gets booted from a game for a
he runs hot.
You know, for a check that's not legal by any stretch of the imagination.
93 penalty minutes on Rantanen, same as our leader. That's the Dallas.
Did Rantanen get suspended this year too? Or?
I think if not, definitely once. But he went through a stretch.
A lot of those penalty minutes were probably in one game.
He was getting booted a lot.
Well,
might have been twice. He got kicked out of 2 games in like a week, right?
Yeah.
My sense about Dallas, though, is they like to bait us into it. You know, they like to, if they can get
some flopping.
If they can get the Foligno brothers, losing their minds, my sense is they'll just kind of back away and try to get on the PP. You know, they had that they essentially beat us with discipline the last time. So we got to be hard and tough and hit.
Under control.
But we have to be under control.
Can't give Dallas 4, 5, 6 power plays a night. Kurtz, you had an interesting number on the broadcast a couple games back on Ryan Hartman and how he's evolved into such an impactful player on this team. And your point was, this time of year, his offense always ramps up. He's a big game player. He lives for these moments. But the penalty discipline, I think you mentioned he was top 5 in the league in getting power plays for his team. And he was like
93rd.
Thank you. Close to 90 or 100, right? In taking penalties, which is almost the opposite of what he was in that column.
Yeah. And if he can continue that, like let's say he's +4 in that category over the series, like
Huge.
what an impact he's going to have, right? And
He's always around when something's happening. Even the
love him.
the Heiskanen injury, it's like, Hartman's kind of like, what's going on? I mean, it's just the guy is
Beautiful.
just. I just couldn't love him more, and I'm sure everyone we play hates him. But that's why you need some guys like that. This is war. This is nothing like what we've been doing for 82 games. And a guy like Ryan Hartman becomes very valuable as we go into this.
Can I give you a Wild Joe radio lock?
oh, we love a Wild Joe radio lock from the third person.
Is this as good as the Trenyan 20 goals 2 years ago, or is it better?
We love these.
That was a bold prediction.
All right.
Yeah, we love those
Supposed to be bold.
All right. It was bold.
Settle down.
All right.
You got a lot to say.
Well, you
so
did have
far.
400 plus hits for him this year, so you got that one right.
No,
okay.
I didn't.
All right. Anyway, a lock.
Excuse me. Let me have the floor. Vladimir Tarasenko is going to score a clutch goal in this series, if not more. I mean, book it. I feel an overtime game winner from him. I think he's going to be a real difference maker. Give me 3 goals in this series for Vladimir Tarasenko, and 1 is an absolute game winner. Not like a
Tara Snipe show.
Not like a 5. He puts them up 5-2, and they win 5-4. I'm talking like a
Overtime game winner.
difference making, big time,
Like
game
exhaust the
winner.
lungs celebration. Yeah. Goal.
Well, I've got Hartman on 5.
5 goals.
5 goals in this series. If you go back to what we saw last year against Vegas, and as good as Boldy and Kaprizov were, especially on the power play, they were great in that series. Ryan Hartman, probably our best player in that series. And I'm telling you right now, 5 goals in this series for Hartman. If you get 3 out of Tarasenko, we know what 12 and 97 are going to do. And I mentioned already, 43 is going to be huge in this series. So I like where this is going. I like how things are trending with some of our key players. The rest they got, I think, is going to be so good for what they want to do in terms of bringing energy in these games. You looked at last year, you mentioned it. We had guys coming back the final week of the season. They weren't in peak form until that series was over. And so, yeah, the ghosts of first round losses are going away.
They're dead
here.
in 5.
Could you
Wow.
imagine where Ryan Hartman would be in Wild fandom lore had Gustav Nyquist not been offside? Because you know that series is a wrap.
If that goal stands, Minnesota does win that series. I'm convinced. Leaving Vegas
You'd be
that
up
next
3-1.
morning is the most somber bus ride to the airport and flight home I have ever been on. And I've been on
Kevin
20
was
seasons
crying.
worth of, but I'm talking from the players. Like, that's as somber a bus ride as I can remember.
But you were crying.
I felt like I was crying inside. I don't think I cry over hockey on the outside. Maybe I will when we win this whole thing and we're on the floats and we're doing the thing with the thing.
And the podcast ends.
Yeah.
Thing with the
Podcast
thing.
comes to an abrupt end, which means my ratings at Wooden Sticks go through the roof. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Or one with one.
Thank
Joel
you.
Donald.
starts.
Did
Thank
you
you.
get Heisey yet?
Oh, from the top deck.
That's on Friday.
I thought it
Wow.
was last week.
It's on Friday.
Okay. She'll call back.
Something came up.
Sit by the phone.
I
She'll
can't
call
believe
back.
he brought up that something came up.
I got crap for
Reschedule.
doing third person prediction lock.
Wow, Joe Radio Lock.
He promotes his podcast and he gets a round of applause. This has been absolute.
We got third period hype guy here. We got a live studio
Mad
audience.
Hussey must have forgotten about the days of Wild Amplified.
Attaboy, Huss.
Ryan Hartman, 11th in the league in penalties drawn, 103rd after sitting out these games in penalties taken.
Yes.
Tied for 23rd in the league in total net penalties. So he's found the line. is what we're saying.
Yep.
He has found the line. It has been effective. You said, and it's an interesting point, like where he would be in Wild fandom if that goal had counted.
Oh.
But how about at the beginning of this year? The Wild need to trade him. They got to get rid of him. They're trying to trade him. This guy has had a year where it's like, hey, Wild need a number one centerman. Hey, his offense isn't there. Hey, he takes too many penalties. This is his moment, and he's waited 82 games for this. So Gorgie, 5 is bold.
He's
dig
getting
it.
5.
I dig it. I do think there's a chance at the end of this that we say Ryan Hartman is the MVP of that series. I do think that 5 is a big number, crooked number. If he gets there,
I'm riding the heater. I'm going for it. I love and we didn't see it coming last year. Like at the end of the year, he was fine.
Well, he had the huge suspension against Ottawa on February the 1st, and it was like, dude, this guy, he might not be with the franchise.
Correct. This year, he's showing us the signs. If you've watched Wild hockey down the stretch, it's coming.
Yeah.
Like
And you
this
got the
guy
band-
is sitting on a huge series.
You got the band back together with Kaprizov, Hartman, Zuccarello.
Yes.
Like, they were so good a few years ago when Hartman had those 34 goals, 33 at even strength. Like, it was good to see. Rossi was kind of up to start with those guys before the trade. Like, now Hartman's there, to your point. Like, the moment is here for him. So hopefully it takes
You know how you know if you're a real Ryan Hartman fan, though? I still want him to just do something horrible again.
No.
At some point.
No.
At some point. Not in the playoffs.
Maybe the parade. Maybe he'll go streaking.
I still do.
like what? Give us an example.
He's just so.
No, you don't want examples.
We don't
right
want
now.
an example. We don't want him to do this.
Come on, Carts,
We
you
need him
better.
on the ice.
I like
Hold
it
on.
when Hartsey does Hartsey
Kinger
things.
has 3 pages of Hartman things he'd like to
Okay,
see
if we're
happen.
up 3-1,
I got to check us,
Did I just
okay?
say that
I
out
got
loud?
to check us because if you were to listen to the start of this podcast, you could say that we're the biggest rubes of all time. So we might be smelling our own farts, okay? So I'm gonna give
wrong
you
with that?
I'm gonna give you some counter thoughts, okay?
Yeah, who doesn't?
National media, Spit and Chicklets, Murley calls us a fraud squad, okay? And I do want to be the franchise that wins the first round and we have fraud squad t-shirts and we're wearing them. Okay, that's the type of team I want to be a part of. You might have experienced that in Philadelphia. We don't experience it a lot around here, okay? So the reason I guess we would lose, right? So this is just to kind of balance this thing out, right?
devil's advocate
They'll
stuff.
tell you they got the goaltender. Don't kid yourself. If you're trying to figure out who your goalie should be, you don't have a goalie.
Yeah, if you have
So
two,
say
you don't
that.
have one.
This Rantanen factor is an X factor because this guy's got 77 points, almost 100 penalty minutes.
Stud.
It's a third stud, okay? Now, we make
That's in
up
like 50, like 60 games too.
and they'll also tell you Heiskanen, I mean, if he's healthy, I mean, this guy's like if you put Quinn and Brock in a blender and mixed them together, right? So you get this guy back. I'm kind of with you on Hintz. Like, I know he's a stud. When he's going, he's a stud, but he's kind of not been there. So, like, they've been fine. But, I mean, everybody, besides Bissonnette picked the Wild, which actually is not usually a good thing.
Oh,
but
he's
they're
a Maple
all
Leafs guy. That's the kiss of death.
But they're all Dallas in 6, Dallas in 7.
Perfect.
Fraud squad.
Perfect.
They got the goalie.
They got Colorado in 4.
You'll hear, does their style? Oh, they've been on cruise control. That's another thing they said because they were like the only
Too
team
long.
that knew.
Now Merle's, we got to
let's
talk about that.
So if that comes into the room, into the chat room, all that noise. How are we? Are we good on? We knock all that down like whack-a-mole?
I go to moneypuck.com
Yes.
where the nerds just
That's
turn
actually
out
a place.
numbers.
Yeah, that's actually a place.
And on MoneyPuck,
Okay.
it has it literally at a coin flip. I think the Wild
50.1.
50.1% Wild is what I saw
And
yesterday.
that .1, I think of that speech. Remember that football movie when Al Pacino was talking about that inch, that separation between a win and a loss?
He's wearing the tomato shirt.
Yeah. Well, that .1
Any given Sunday.
is that 5th goal by Ryan Hartman in Game 7 to put us up with a minute to go, and he's doing the running man down the boards, and it's revenge, baby! Let's get it done. I love that running man.
So much for that. I guess we're just rubes.
No, so
we're
they called
total rubes.
they called him out for saying that Minnesota is, what was it, the fraud squad?
And he did say some of that was he was betting on him and Gus got
Emotional.
sick but he did say, and then the other guys said, if you lose to a team like Dallas in 7 games, you can't possibly call them a fraud squad. But I'm just saying that because we need to get our mindset different. We need to be wanting to have those T-shirts and be wearing it after you win the round.
Yeah.
And just taking that bulletin board, taking all those trolls on social media.
All 4 of us with the T-shirts on. I'll get a medium on so
And
it'll really pop.
shorts.
I'm just saying, man.
Shorts with the legs.
We have to get.
It's not a work day, though.
I was digging into the playoff history of the franchise. I want double-digit playoff games. I want to go on a run. I want to see. I want the vitamin D. I want to get going. I want to start saying it's okay to believe.
You want some good vibes?
So,
there's a lot of bad vibes.
I do.
So last
hold on.
time-
Good vibes for who? Because I do want to play devil's advocate for a bit.
I just had a good vibe.
Well, give us a good vibe first.
Good vibe of a playoff run, double-digit playoff games, is that the last time the Wild were in the second round, this guy played 1 game in that series, Ryan Carter,
Against Dallas? St. Louis?
against Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Beat St. Louis.
Beat St. Louis.
And got, unfortunately, beaten by the Blackhawks. But Ryan Carter,
Was here.
where's the applause? Yes, thank you.
Carter would get his revenge
So
later. Wasn't
there's
he
your
in the
vibes.
outdoor game?
Yeah, baby.
Last time there was a second round, this guy
Dinky Town,
dressed.
out there with the eye black, scoring goals, 50,000 large.
What games did you play?
Unfortunately, we couldn't get through Chicago when it mattered, which is my argument against the playoff setup as it is, because I always had to go through Chicago. No,
Every
at
time.
that time, turns out all the West had to go through Chicago.
Yeah.
But it was hard for us. Like, we could beat other teams, but just couldn't beat Chicago. So if we're playing devil's advocate,
We do need to balance this a little bit.
yeah, if we're playing,
I
if we're
balanced
playing
early. I
I'll play
balanced
devil's
early.
advocate. I think the
You
series
just
is going
picked
7.
5 goals for Hartman in one round. That's a great.
When it happens, we can talk about what a great prediction it was. But if I think the series is going 7, it's a coin flip series. I don't feel like that's a homer prediction. Dallas is favored in the series. If you look at the betting market, they are favored to win this series. So would I be surprised? No. I mean, of course not. We're no lock. It's not going to be a 5-game series. I think you two are insane. I do. I don't think it's a short series at all.
Rantanen's good. That's
we got to.
That's real. He's sitting on 99 playoff games right now. How many points do you think he has? in
Is
the
he even
playoffs?
30 yet?
Yeah. Let's check.
Is he over 99 points?
But he's over a point a game.
He's 29.
He's 29.
He's got 99 games. How many points?
I'd say 105.
Any other better?
Over 99. 110.
I'm looking at it. from
123.
your laptop, so
123. Yeah, we're gonna
1.25 points a game.
We're gonna have to.
He's good when it matters, when it's tight. I think regular season, like he's barely over that regular season. So he's 716 games played, 782. So
Got cup cred, the whole thing.
yeah, like he's good. Now Kaprizov, if you're saying, all right, let's talk the stud. Let's talk the actual stud. Kaprizov now in 25 career games played in the playoffs, how many points does he have?
25.
21.
21. 15 goals, 6 apples. You can look at that and say,
That's a lot of goals, though.
yeah, you got to give him somebody that can finish it. Ryan Hartman, 5 goals. We'll see. But
how about Zuki?
Zuki's,
Him up real quick.
yeah, I don't know what Zuki'd be.
Because I feel like the last couple of playoffs, again, like health factors in. I just want to see what, well, you need that whole line going, right? You need Zuki on the power play, shooting the puck.
He's been trending though, Joe. Down the stretch,
Yeah.
he's been trending.
He's been scoring more.
Yep.
I want a north-south game from that line. You start going east-west against Dallas, and you turn a puck over,
It's
and
trouble.
their defensemen join the rush, and you're
You're outnumbered.
In one.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're outnumbered.
Zuki's 58 and 102. Slightly better than a half point per game. So here's the other reason this is different. This year hits different. It's not going into Vegas last year, Boldy, Eriksson at Kaprizov. Let's just hope that they can
Survive.
Yeah.
outplay the matchup issue. If Haskinen's back and he truly is healthy and he is with Esa Lindell, it's a problem. But the Wild have a solution to that problem. They got 2 lines.
Yep.
Now,
And the best line all year was 14, 12, and 90. I don't care what anybody says. And I know Marcus Johansson gets a lot of crap around here from the fan base and on Twitter. Like, that guy, that line carried this team for a large stretch of the season with Eriksson, Boldy, and Johansson. And I look for them to do damage this series.
where, as John likes to call him, the ginger, Goaltending has a
By
decision.
the way, I'm pretty sure he has blonde hair, but it's amazing that we're going this route.
I'm telling you, he's the Pink Panther, man.
And he didn't want his name, by the way.
What's that?
Gulletson, whatever.
Finger did not want to know his name.
I don't even pronounce Ottinger correctly. So
Or
Call him Otter.
or Heiskanen.
Heiskanen.
you know what? There's a lot of. I actually
Thick
don't
skin.
care because I only have to worry about it for 5 games. So
Wow.
keep going.
But he has a choice to make on who he's going to put that group out there against. And then I think their number 4 D-man, Nils Lundqvist, has got a lot to prove a little bit. What frightens me is Bischel and Myers. Like, those guys
Big
are
boys.
They're big. And I think the Wild have the playoff style advantage in their bottom 6. Like, I'm excited to see McCarron, Trenyan, Nick Foligno, Marcus, and those guys kind of go to work. I think a lot of times in the first series, and especially game 1, game 2, as it starts to find like it's circadian rhythm or whatever you want to call it, like its pace. Like, it's energetic, it's hard, it's fast. And those depth guys, those physical guys that have been on the grind all the time are good at it. They're good at it because they've been playing it, and they make a difference game 1, game 2, right? And then all of a sudden the big guys start to find the pace and the grind, and they get going. I think that's a big reason why Kirill's at 21 points in 25 games. Every other scenario, he's over a point per game, no problem. He's had to figure out the grind of the playoffs.
Yep.
And he's had guys where, he during the regular season can control the perimeter of the ice and get the puck to him into the interior, and he can finish it. That's harder when Gulletsen's got the matchup and it's Heiskanen and Lindell. Now Kirill's like getting frustrated because he's like, I got to play the puck in the offensive zone. He gets to the wall. Then he's delivering it to the middle of the ice. And that's probably part of the reason why he's only got 6 apples in the postseason, because like he's doing the work on the perimeter. Then it gets the puck to somebody in the interior, and it's maybe not a peer finisher, right? Or somebody that's not there. So Gulletsen has a choice. Like, is he going to try to shut down Kaprizov and that group with Heiskanen and Lindell? Because those guys are elite. We're talking top tier elite at shutdown. And that next group, not.
Home ice, big advantage for Dallas in this series because of the last change.
Yeah, in that
and
scenario.
the face-offs.
Yeah, and last change, that's part of it, but he's going to get his matchup. But the Wild have a counter, so he has to choose. Do I want those D-man against Kaprizov, or I want them against Boldy?
It's a tough call.
Yeah, and I actually like them going that matchup against Boldy. Or, I'm sorry, against Kaprizov, because then that gives Boldy, Eriksson, Ek, and those guys the other line.
Against Ilya Lyubushkin and Nils Lundqvist.
Yeah. Or Harley.
And by the way, we're assuming Heiskanen plays game 1. We'll know a lot more when they practice tomorrow.
And by the way, a guy that has been hurt, I mean, he's going to see some heavy and hard.
I want to see the Wild's 3rd and 4th lines produce as well. Like, the hits are great, the forecheck's great, but a Nick Foligno goal, a Michael McCarron deflection in front.
Marcus looked great down the stretch, faster than I've ever seen him.
He's feeling good
this year.
It looks like he's feeling really good.
Maybe he wasn't feeling good most of the year, but he looked really fast and seems to be re-energized. This was my cheat codes on, similar to what you said. So I think if Ek is contributing offensively, that's a big clue that good things are happening, because he can get kind of locked into the shutdown thing, but he's got to be scoring. Zuki has to continue to be Zuki Appleseed. He's got to be doing what he was doing at the end of the year. And I'm with you. The Tarasenko, the Yurov goal, the Faber goal, the Hartseat, those are the guys. If you go down the list, Dallas, Minnesota, and you start looking at goals, that's where we need those Faber goals. Yeah. We need Yurov to kind of pop one in the playoffs. That's going to be the difference, I think, is that kind of stuff.
Right. And when the Stars beat the Wild just 10 days ago or whatever it was, like, it was Colin Blackwell with a goal and an assist. Yep. It was, Justin Ritz-Kovian has been scoring down the stretch for them. So the Wild are going to need to match that. Maverick Bork, you're going to need that depth scoring. All right, I got a question for you guys.
Oh, let's hear it.
Game 1. Bobby Brinkin, Danila Yurov in. What do you think they do? Like, I love the all-Russian line together, but I understand if you play that, then what do you do on the 4th line? You got McCarron with the Foligno brothers.
I like that.
Me too.
I like that a lot,
but if
actually.
Brink's in, that means Yurov's out, because now you've got...
I don't think Brink plays.
Yurov's got to be in.
I think Yurov has to play in, and gives you an extra centerman in case something happens within the game. Brink has got the higher offensive output potential, but I think the defensive side of the puck, which gets magnified this time of year, Yurov is so good without the puck. So I think
So
Greg's
you
the odd man
go
out.
Kaprizov, Hartman, Zuccarello.
Yep.
You go the Boldy, Eriksson, Johansson line I talked about. You got the all-Russian line, and then you got McCarron
Foligno's and
centering the
McCarron.
Folignos.
I love that lineup.
Whoa,
Love that.
I also think that there's a good
Yeah, Trent is with the Russians.
there's a good chance at some point McCarron starts playing with Trenyan and Tarasenko.
Yeah.
I think it might get to a spot where the Wild are kind of rolling three, then there's a fourth that slips in there from time to time in Europe. McCarron, I think, is going to be a factor. I think that they've really liked, and I'm not privy to any new information, just watching lately.
Yeah.
He's brought a lot. They like
Brennan
him.
might be a factor
And-
too, even offensively.
Yeah.
I mean, he had some nice runs in Nashville. I like Brink. Brink's like Volstead for me, where they're a catalyst player. You know, you throw them in when maybe you had a slow game or whatever, and you want a little more pop. I think Wally is. I mean, the guy is. I mean, he is clenching his teeth all the time. He's ready. And if he doesn't start game one, he's only going to be more ready when he gets his number called. And so I think you got to start with Yurov. He's almost like a Marco Rossi Jr., right? He's just so all around, especially on the road. I'd start Yurov.
So if you like the eye test for McCarron and Trenyan as combos, and Hines has mentioned the fact that he likes combo, and then he'll like complement with another player, move like one player around, kind of. You know, it's Eriksson, and Boldy, it's Kaprizov, Zuccarello, and he'll like spot other people. I think the combo that he's slowly falling in love with, and it's worked, is McCarron and Trenyan. Those two guys together have been good. So who they put on the flank with them might change a little bit, but I think that's going to end up being a line.
Yeah, I like that size wearing down Dallas. Like if it does go 6 or 7, if it's a longer series, that physical play that those guys can bring on a nightly basis has to pay dividends, in my opinion. Because Dallas, to me, they can play the physical game for sure, but they come into this series already with key guys dealing with some issues. Heiskanen being the guy that I think is going to take a lot of that physical abuse on these forechecks. That has to be a factor. Minnesota has to walk that line. They have got to stay within their game. They can't get too amped up, chomping at the bit. I think you're right. They are really, really feeling pumped to get back out there. I need some flatlining here. I need some guys with some discipline. I don't want to see a replay of what we saw the last time these guys played in the playoffs, and Dallas got in their kitchen, was flopping all over the ice. You know, Everson behind the bench was losing his mind. That can't happen in this series. Minnesota has to be under control with the way they play their game.
That was DeBoer, too, though. I mean, we knocked out Pavelski. Remember? Dumba knocked him out right the first game.
Well, we had a police escort from the rink to the hotel
and then
there were death threats.
But you were right. That thing was like
too much.
It was just out of hand. You got to be calm.
Settle it down.
And coaching's a huge part of it. We talked about it, Karts, even before we were doing this with the Wild. There's so much gamesmanship that happens in the media. You know, the whole, you can really maneuver a playoff series, whether you're John Tortorella or
DeBoer was really good at that.
I mean, you can kind of, Cooper, all these guys know how to do that, you know? So that's where I think.
I don't think the Pink Panther's going to have that.
No, I think
DJ
Hines is gonna do.
I love Hines. I do. I love Hines a cat.
He has a good feel. How long do you guys go? You got to go right now?
Yeah, I got to head upstairs to the Paul Allen perch.
Well, bring the heat down there. We'll talk a little more.
You got another minute or two, Joe?
Of course.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do the
rolling change, line change.
Gorgie, go get it. Go get it.
Go.
Enjoy.
89% on that battery. Yeah, buddy.
Just let the door slam on your way out, too. That's perfect.
What's amazing is one thing that we haven't talked about, Gorgie touched on a little bit, is special teams. And I think they are going to factor, but they're so even that it's like.
It's almost like these two teams, I really went deep into this. These are Gemini's twins. And, you know, the story of Gemini's twin is one of them becomes immortal and one of them doesn't. And they kind of hung out together. But I'm thinking this is we have to kill our shadow. This franchise is linked to us. They've gotten us twice in the playoffs. Third time is the charm, man. Also, Gemini's sign is May 21st to June 20th. That'd be the Cup final. So I think the writing's on the wall. We just got to be the immortal ones.
I like it. In order to be immortal, I think you made a couple of points, and I think this is couples with that a little bit. Eriksson Ek has to be
Offense.
in the snot bubble. He's going to have to get
He
those
can't
kinds
just
of
try
goals.
to lock down Robertson and Johnston. That is not a good use of Eriksson Ek.
Playoff goals. It's like I've said this before too. If you just look at the heat map, you say that all the goals come from the inner slot and they're close to the net. You do a playoff heat map, they're so much closer. You go the second round, it's even closer. And on. Like you just have to be literally in the paint. There should be goaltender challenges and reviews like on nearly every goal. Like that's how many people and bodies you need there. So he's the guy. He's the best at it. And if he can be out there against Lundqvist and Thomas Harley, I think there's a good chance that he's dynamite,
Mm-hmm.
I actually think it's harder for him if they put that third set. If it's Bischel and Tyler Myers against them, it gets harder for him. But the other one is, I think we're going to need Quinn Hughes to care about playing without the puck as much as he does with the puck.
When does he not have the puck?
That's a great point.
I know what you're
again,
saying.
I
though.
think this
Well,
rest.
if you look at his plus minus, right? I mean, it's very different than Faber's, right?
I think the rest.
Well, and you look at his time here, he's got 50 points, 55 points. What is it, 54, 55? Whatever it is. I think he's +4.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the rest for me. It's the refocus. It's the knowing that this is the most important time of year. The way he approached the Olympics, same type of deal. Big games, big moments. He wants to be out there.
Hughes.
Responsible defensively. Oh, yeah.
This the one thing. So I heard this story that makes me comfortable with his ability to ramp it up defensively when it matters. Is that clip where he was talking about being on the bench and screaming to Z, like I think it was Werenski.
Oh, yeah, in the Olympics.
Help! Like he was recognizing that he needed help on defense. So like. He was committed to it in that spot, like even from the bench, like watching how to defend. So I think during the first 82, the guy is like, my job is to stay on the ice and put the puck in the back of the net and help everybody else get scoring chances. I do think when it matters that he has the ability to be like, I'm going to keep it out of my net.
That's the Quinn Hughes we're going to see. We want the waving off the line change Quinn Hughes, right? Yelling from the bench about somebody needing support. And he will. I mean, I dug into his playoff history because I was trying to figure out, he's a smaller guy. And I started to have my Minnesota problems. I'm thinking, maybe his game doesn't translate to the playoffs or whatever. But he looks excellent in the playoffs. Statistically, with the Nerds, best first pass out of the zone. He's kind of a point-a-game guy. He's certainly won at least one series, maybe beating the Wild in something before the bubble or something. But he's been good in the playoffs. And I think he'll approach this the same way as, Italy. Get out there and big game Quinn.
You guys mentioned the big D pair for Dallas, the 5'6", Tyler Myers and Leon Bischel. I don't see any issue with them at all in this series for the Wild. I actually want them on the ice all the time. I think they could be a turnover machine. I know they're physical. I know they'll make it hard in the corners in the front of the Stars net. They'll block a lot of shots. They can both bomb it. But I am absolutely thinking that's a spot where the Wild can take advantage. That 3-4 and the 5-6 on the Stars deep pairings. Again, assuming Haskinen's healthy and he's playing with Esa Lindell.
We don't know their pairs, but that's what it's been. I think.
You have Thomas Harley, who's a horse back there, but Lyubushkin, Lundqvist, Bischel, Myers, I think way more questions. Not so much from experience. Tyler Myers played well over 1,000 games. Lyubushkin's a veteran guy, but Bischel played a bunch of playoff games for them last year. But to me, like Niels Lundqvist 2 years ago couldn't get in their playoff lineup.
Now he's a top 4.
So to me, I'm like, those are the guys you go after in this series. The forecheck for the Wild is going to be key. John Hines has told us that. I'm sure he'll talk about it more as this series moves along. The forecheck for the Wild will be key. And if you can get after that bottom 4, I think the Wild have a really good chance.
And so I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like Bischel and Myers, they're big. And I think they're going to be hard to score on, but at the same time, they're not puck movers.
Right.
So if you do have that forecheck, you get it going, they're not like a first pass kind of pair.
Right.
So they might have a harder time.
So maybe your approach when they're on the ice is not so much to your point, you're getting a lot of shots through because they're big trees out there and they're making it hard, but maybe you're just hemming them in. Now you get that line change, and now you get your scorers out there against those two.
I think what you do is you aim for the skis, big guys, big feet, just try to use them as those redirection.
Bounce off of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, no. What else you got over there, Kinger? Any other good? I got these like signs or.
I got a new bit for us. Okay, this is going to be called "Mess with Texas." Okay, because that's what we need to do here. And each time we do the pod, we're going to just mess with Texas. Once the games start, we'll have stuff to work with that happened in the games. But for now, I've done some research. I don't know if you know, but Texas has their own power grid, separate from the U.S., and it's often referred to as a fragile power grid. So that's not good. We got only 7,000.
So how are we going to mess with that? What do we do?
I'm just saying they got problems. They only have 7,000 lakes in Texas. Most of them are man-made. There's only kind of one real one. So that's an advantage, clearly, to Minnesota. And I dug into the otter as an animal. It is part of the weasel family. So an otter is just a fancy word for a weasel. So I'm not saying that Game Ops should play Pop Goes the Weasel whenever we score, but I'm just saying there's a soft underbelly here. We got a fragile power grid. We got less lakes, and the otter, if you dig into the lineage, is technically a weasel.
Can I just add one thing? And this might get me in trouble with anybody from down there that listens to this podcast. I lived in Texas for 5 years in Houston. I hate Texas.
What?
I just hate it. I hate Dallas. I hate Texas. I'm sorry. It's going to get me in trouble. I'm sure it will. I just don't. There's a lot like the separate power grid thing. It's just Texas tries
real?
to be itself. I
a
don't
real
even know if it's
thing,
real.
yeah. AI
I just
said
know
so.
that living there, they
AI.
always thought they were better than everybody else. They always thought that they should have just basically been their own country. That was the vibe I got for 5 years down there. It was a while ago, granted. And I know, again, this is going to upset some people. I don't like the whole thing. I don't like the vibe. I don't like any of it.
I mean, this is a time you got to start hating.
So no
I know.
barbecue,
It's
Juicy
fine.
Lucy's.
I did like the
Juicy
food there.
Lucy's
I
for
like
2
the food
weeks.
there.
This
And
is
I like the fact that gas stations had beer, so you could just buy like
The 24-ounce bedwetters.
We're asking you to
a brown
hate.
paper
We're
bag.
asking you to hate for 10 days
Yeah.
or whatever. Like this is what the Stanley Cup playoffs are. It's time to really get aggressive here.
Yeah.
And be willing to break through the door, kick people.
like you don't want to. You look at their jerseys, you want to vomit, right?
Yeah, you
look
need to
at-
be very
The
upset.
highlighters.
You hear
Their
their
third
goal,
jersey.
you hear their goal horn. It makes you like lose sleep at night. You know what I mean? Like
Glass
that type
banger
of-
guy, all of it. The people sitting behind the
anything
benches.
that they do or they do well, you want to be on the other end of the spectrum.
Jamie Benn kind of baiting people into stuff. Yeah, like I'm all in for hating, and I will hate our next opponent. I'll
Yes,
find
that's part of
ways
the
to
bit.
hate them.
Yeah.
Like I'm upset about this power grid thing right now. Why do they think they can have their own, especially if it's fragile? But I think this is for real. This is our annual playoff a reminder. We don't do the wave in the playoffs. Never. We never do the wave in the playoffs in our building. That's like hacky sacking during a war. I would really hesitate to bring children to playoff games unless they're at least 12 years old, even if it's a matinee. These are my opinions, not the official opinion of the Minnesota Wild. And then we cannot be a nervous crowd, folks. If you're wearing shorts to the game, what that's going to tell me is you're prepared to go on a run and you are feeling loose and you're ready to go.
You're ready to
so that's
party.
just going to be a hidden handshake. That's a hidden handshake that, like, you know what? I'm getting real comfortable here.
So you give the head nod to anybody in shorts at Grand Casino Arena.
Especially if it's cold.
Just the
My
old-
boat's going to be in the water before we're done playing hockey. That's the mindset we need. And anybody that listens to this and says, "Oh, these guys are, they're too close to it." You know what? That's what you have to be, because they can feel the energy, man. We cannot be nervous in the building. We got to just dive off the stage and hope someone catches you.
Every time I spend time around John King, which is only a handful of times a year, unfortunately, I always feel like I get to know him better by the time the interaction is over, and I always appreciate something new.
You're always worried about me.
Well,
There's a lot of baggage.
I'm always a little worried coming into the podcast or the interaction, and then I leave feeling more comfortable.
Okay, good.
You're a man of the Minnesota people.
Well, good stuff. Anything else that we missed?
I don't think so. Just love you guys, including me.
I want to
feel-
pay tribute to Joe before we go. So I listen to games on the radio a decent amount.
Thank you.
And it's good. He's an old-fashioned broadcaster, left to right on your radio dial, talks about what color jerseys they're wearing. I love watching it on TV. You're doing a great job, Carts, too. This is not a contest. Not a contest. But I was
I forgot
noticing.
we had a TV guide.
So I'm a English major, right? And I was noticing when I was listening to him, I'm like, man, because I remember Doc Emmerich used to say stuff like ladled it in. He had but he only really had a couple.
Knifed.
Yep. So I was listening with my wife in the car, and I said, man, he is a human thesaurus. I've never heard more verbs. This is unbelievable. And he appears not to repeat them. So I got a piece of paper out while I was driving. I said, I want you to write down every verb Joe says.
You made her do this?
This is in 5 minutes of live broadcast. Floated down, muscled back, charging in, swiped away, shouldered, label below, sprayed it ahead, shuffled it, wheels it, spike it that way, worked it, laid it around, fumbled away, jab free, chucked it, lugs it ahead, punched away, trickled ahead, rumbled, jammed along, skied, rimmed it, jarred ahead, whack it past, winds one in, lobs in deep, motored it along, rips it ahead. Not a single repeat. This is... You should charge money. You should charge money.
That was Dr. Seuss-like.
It's unbelievable. I don't know how you do it. I don't know if you got a steel trap, but it makes it better. You're doing a great job. I just wanted to thank you for all the verbs.
Thank you. There was a game maybe a month ago, and I don't know why. I think the Wild were losing, and it was not a pretty game. And I said to myself, there's like 5 minutes left in the third period, and I tried to do the alphabet. So I started with like angled for A. The next time the guy touched the puck he batted it. C was chipped it. And I got all the way in my brain calling the game until like, I don't know, like P or something. And then I don't know if there was a whistle or...
It doesn't feel forceful.
I normally don't do that, but in my head, like if I was going to tell a young broadcaster, have something for every letter. You know, even if you get the Z, it's zipped. Zip to pass, right? Like, and other than probably X... You know, there might be another one. Why? Like
you crunched them like a xylophone or something.
Right. So
that's
like,
not a verb, though.
But like if you're, you dump it in, you elevate the puck, you force it, you guide it, you hack it, just going through the alphabet.
I think it's cool, and I think it makes it richer.
So one time I just was like, I'm going to do this. And for 3 minutes, I just maybe you were listening.
It's a good skill. It's a good skill. And it's very natural.
Thanks, buddy.
Well.
All right, we'll be checking in. We got
a lot of these coming up, especially if we're wearing shorts into Memorial Day and playing hockey.
Just remember, we're here
till it's here.
Peace.